Hi everyone, welcome to the grind back for yet another Zoom edition.
Back.
And I know we've been with our community, our online community for a while, and I'm sure like they all like know some, getting to know us a little bit better through just our conversations and everything. But I thought, why don't we just share like a fun fact about ourselves that we think that people may not necessarily know, just to let people know about us a little bit better. I'll say this. Okay, so fun fact about me is everyone knows I enjoy coffee a lot, but I like to write down all the coffee shops I go to. So fun fact, I visit now and still counting 114 coffee shops in Hong Kong.
Fun fact, Katrina has a caffeine problem.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't. Not a caffeine problem. It's just a caffeine need. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Let's go
So
with
just
that.
letting you know, guys, we're changing. So just letting you guys know, we're changing the grind for an intervention for Katrina's caffeine problem.
It's not called the grind. It's intervention for Petrino.
A lot.
But yes,
It's a lot of coffee shops. I didn't think there were that many in Hong Kong.
there are still plenty that needs to be checked out. But out of the list, there are like maybe 2 or 3 that's renamed and closed or something like that. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that's my fun fact.
I think for me, fun fact is aside the fact that I love gaming as a hobby, I actually like fishing as well.
I'm sorry.
Fishing.
I used to do fishing with Rachel a lot back when we were still dating, and then we used
Rachel
to fish a lot
enjoys
in Moy
fishing?
Wo. Yeah, she loves fishing. She enjoys fishing too.
Do you guys like cook what you catch?
Well, if we're feeding worms, then maybe not really.
Okay.
It's more of like just for the fun of it, and then we'll just put them back in the ocean. Yeah.
Okay, just
Ocean
imagine
sea.
like the fish, like it's like how they feel like, oh no, we're going to die.
Psych!
Oh wait, we are released back into the ocean.
Mercy.
Mercy.
So yeah, that's
Okay,
fun fact for me, I guess.
that is fun.
Yeah.
I was published as an undergraduate, so my thesis as an undergraduate is out floating around in some academic journal somewhere.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Oh, I thought you did. Well, yeah, there you go.
So
That's
Mr.
pretty
Nathan
cool.
Chan is
I
quite smart.
had to go present it at a conference like in Sweden of all places, where I was the only person in the room without at least a PhD. It was ridiculous.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
so-
pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, so my work is floating out there on the internet somewhere. So,
Ugh.
Pastor Petrina, what are we talking about today?
So we're talking about, as we all know, if you just joined in, we're talking about like the I am statements that Jesus goes through. And basically these are like, I guess what we would say during that time, fun facts about Jesus,
Mm.
And each
Yes.
time is like a outrageous statement, right? So last week we talked about I am the bread of life, pretty outrageous. And then Jesus says, I am the light of the world, another outrageous statement for
Even
that
more
time.
outrageous.
Exactly, because
Yep,
they're like, it's not like he is a light, but he is the light
the
of
light.
the world,
The
Of
one
the
and
world.
only.
the one and only light. So, like Jesus says, I am the light of the world, and he didn't have to add like any qualifiers. Or like, oh, look at me, like this is why I'm the light of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically just simply said, I am the light. So what did he mean by that claim? Like, what is the promise that comes with being the light of the world? Like, what do you guys think? And I guess to go off that track of thought, is what are some promises of God that you're holding on during the season?
Well, if I remember correctly, one of the promises was that we would never have to walk in darkness.
Yeah.
Not that not literal darkness. There's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
night. But that we never have to sort of live the way that we used to before we
Yeah.
Yeah.
knew him,
That's good.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're free from all the stuff that we used to do. We're not tied to it anymore.
Mhm.
Freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus you have like also you also have the light. Whoever walks with him also has that light as well. And yeah, so that's why we will never walk in darkness. So that's kind of good too. But yeah, like just going off the other question that I asked was like, what are some of the promises of God that you're holding to in this season?
I think for me, one of the promises would be I am the Alpha and Omega. So just the fact that he's beginning and end, and then he also promises that he's unchanging and he's the same yesterday. So those are the promises that I always keep in mind, that no matter the changes of circumstances, the changes of the people around us, or even for yourself, for ourselves, is just that we are reassured knowing that the Lord is always the same. And if he healed the sick before, he will heal the sick today. Sorry for the shouting. I don't know if you guys hear that.
Yeah,
that is
it's
really
okay.
This is COVID life. It's fine.
And then so I think that one is one thing that I always hold on to as well, just knowing that the Lord is always the same, and he's always right where he is from beginning to end. So yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, that is encouraging. How about you, Nathan?
I am holding to the promises that God has a plan for all of us. Even me. And while I may not know what that plan is, like all the details of that plan, I am just holding to the promise that there is one, that there is going to be more ahead of me than sitting in my four walls for God knows how long. Yeah, that this is only a temporary spell, and things will get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would say that's like kind of keeping me going is the promise is like God is with me. And so it's almost like every day I start with this. It's like, I don't know what today's going to hold. I don't know what's going to happen today, but I know this for sure that God is with me. Because I don't know, right? But that's the only thing I know for sure is that God is with me. And I think that sometimes is enough and gives me strength to pull through. So making even making like declarative statements, there's power in our words. And so I think when we like declare God's promises, when we hold on to it, I think it does change the nature of the day and kind of almost like chart the course of the day. Like if I wake up like saying like, oh God, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this, like it kind of like almost sets the tone for the day. And there are definitely times I've done that and the day has been just hard. But so basically talking about like how like, okay, we also have the light of life, and in a way like he talked about how like a town built on a hill cannot be hidden. So have you ever been part of something where in a way you're a light shining with others and know that your collective light was brighter? Because there's only so much that we can go by ourselves.
I think for me it's well, because the thing is I've only had one experience going out of the country to do mission trips. So because before, when I do mission trips in our church back in the Philippines, it's usually just around the Philippines. But the last time when I went for a mission trip, we did it in Taiwan. And getting to do that with like different people and gathering different people, and the fact that you're in a group of other members of the mission trip, and then you're doing something collectively in sharing the gospel and trying to encourage these people. I think that's one experience that I could say that I could say like collectively we're doing something for the good of those people around our community that time. So, and usually those were like students. We were trying to encourage them, sharing them about Jesus and what he does in their lives. even despite that most of them are exchange students. So yeah, I think that one was what was the experience that I had like regarding this one.
That's cool. Also similar to what Rico was talking about on missions, right? There was one trip where me and a bunch of other people, we've been invited to go to a church to like minister to their youth group, who were putting on a big event. They had a whole stage set up outside and everything was gonna be a whole worship night. And then the night that it happens, there was like torrential rain. This is in Malaysia, like torrential rain, like cannot, like event can't happen unless you know, we move all the stuff inside to the church. And then but what happened was that everyone was so up for it, and we still wanted to lead worship that night. We did, and it just ended up being a really, really good night of worship. And which honestly I don't think would have happened had we not like had it not rained, had the circumstances not played out the way they did. Like, we're here now, let's see what God's going to do, because God can work anyway. Doesn't matter that we're on a smaller stage, we're inside instead of outside. God still works. So in that context, that was definitely like a light shining moment, I think.
Even like if we put it in our context, like I need you guys for the grind, you know. It's not like everyone wants to tune in to see the Patrina show. So as entertaining as that may be,
there's an idea.
Let's not. But you know, like with you guys, you know, and also like even like everyone who's putting on like church online and everything, it's like we wouldn't be able to we only can go so far by ourselves, but together it's like, you know, we're able to make something. And like it's true, right? Like, you know, being a light, like light will always beat out darkness. It will always beat out darkness. And like I've never seen light not defeat darkness. It's like physically impossible. The only time that like, you know, light, like darkness beats out light is if the light is extinguished. Like if it like takes like intention.
There's no existence of light.
Like it's like literally like it's like someone extinguishes the light, you know, or hides it, you know, that's when, you know, darkness prevails. And so it does take like intention on like one's part to destroy the light, right? To hide the light. And so I like what David says, like, hey, it's like you already have the light, you know, don't try to hide it, you know, let it shine. And it's like, you know, why you know, we are to reflect the light of Jesus. So like, let it shine. You know, and I think the beautiful thing is that, you know, the Holy Spirit it's like inside us and constantly shaping and forming us and making us more like Jesus as we follow him. And so I know, like, you know, we talk about like, you know, a lot of people like, you know, during this time, they don't know Jesus, right? And I'm sure all of us here, like we have people who don't know Jesus. So, but like for you guys, like how do people, you know, like, understand Jesus?
I think a lot of people know Jesus just as like a historical figure. Either that or actually as like a fictional character. Like especially if they're not Christians or they don't really know Jesus, right? He's a guy who appeared in stories. At least that's what from conversations with you know, many different people, that's what I gather. He's either historical or he's fictional.
I think it's like with Jesus, people like that's your thing. Like don't try to, like, you know, I don't need to really know about it. And then like the things like just all like formality and like, you know.
I think for me, a lot of the people that I know, they're not Christians, but they like, some of them, they do believe that Jesus exists, but they're more of like, you know what, Jesus and I are good, like something like that. That's how far the relationship is with Jesus. But other than that, they just put it more in like the mind more rather than putting it in heart, kind of like a relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that I like, one of the people that I would encounter when they when we're like talking about Jesus or things like that.
Yeah.
But
It's
have you
just
guys
like-
ever sorry,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you were saying?
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, have you guys ever experienced that someone would actually be interested in asking, why do you believe in Jesus?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was one time I actually had a conversation with someone about that, and I think as I talk about it, I was actually getting so excited. Like, yeah, wow, I do believe in this, and it just excited me to talk about Jesus and why I chose to believe. So, yeah.
At some point, some conversations go from like, yeah, he's historical or fictional too, but you actually believe in him, right?
Yeah.
And then it just goes from there. I think that's kind of, from what I've experienced anyway, like the natural flow of things, because like it's not like when they say, oh, he's just historical, then I go, oh yeah, for sure. Like it's not like you just agree with it, or you can.
Yeah.
There is some sort of curiosity there, I think, from some people.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that the world paints Christianity as like just, I don't know, judgmental. I mean, we see it all across media, like, that they're just judgmental, they're so strict, like they just don't necessarily paint Christian, or like celebrity churches, they don't necessarily paint Christians in a very positive light. I'm trying to think of one movie, like one Hollywood movie that paints like Christianity like as like good. I mean, the only one that like comes to my mind is The Blind Side, and I mean that's it.
Sure.
Like everything else is like mocking Christians, or painting like Christians to be like the bad guy or something like that, or the values is what twisted people. I don't know. Anyway, so it's sad, and I think that's not us. We should be loving people, and and so I think especially during this time, this is like, this is every opportunity to really show the love of Christ, to not really operate in fear, but to operate in love. And so I'm sure all of us here, like we have our own understanding of Jesus, and and how he is like. And so I think everyone's going to come to their own understanding of who Jesus is on their own. Like we can't force like, this is how I experience Jesus, this is how you need to experience Jesus. And so I think like a challenge for all of us here, whoever's joining us as well online, is how can we be a light in a practical, effective way in our own context, whether it be through the way we speak, doing little things for people that we know, sending encouraging note. I think there's just so many opportunities to tell people about Jesus by like just being the light. Don't quench that light. Don't quench that light. Don't just stick. Yeah. Cool. Well then, it was good catching up, hanging out, and to everyone who joined us,
Likewise.
online, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will catch you at our next ride. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone. Bye guys.
See you guys.